Janine and Troy Patton's relationship begins in secret. But when they finally divorce their spouses and tie the knot, they're both confident that this time it's for keeps. And for a while, it's one big happy family.
He's always good with the kids. Now, he used to take Janine's son with him on the truck route, and he just loved it.
They got along perfect. Troy treated him as if he was his own son. I mean, he didn't have any other son. He only had 2 daughters, so it was like a dream come true for him.
I think Brady, really bonded with both of the girls and liked having them there.
We would just hang out at home, watch movies. I mean, we fought sometimes, yes, but it was just like a regular sleepover.
As summer turns to fall, tensions develop over sharing 3 bedrooms between 6 people.
What are you doing?
There was one time we went down, and Troy said that Janine was upset because she didn't want his girls sleeping in Brady's bedroom.
Are you planning on sleeping here? You're not sleeping here. This is not your room.
My brother, no doubt, loved both of her kids, and I believe they both loved him dearly. And you could see that and you could sense that. Janine, on the other hand, I always felt was maybe a little more jealous of my brother's girls. She, I don't think, bonded with them near like Troy bonded with her kids.
Still, the dust settles, and the family settles into a routine. The new house has put a strain on their finances, but Troy focuses on work, while Janine takes care of the money.
Troy just left that all up to Janine. He let her write the checks and pay the bills.
Because Troy was a pushover, Janine was a control freak. She liked to have control, and Troy just let her. He trusted her, he believed in her.
Janine isn't just taking an interest in the bills. She's also taking an interest in the woman who delivers the bills, the mail carrier, who happens to be Troy's ex-wife, Lisa.
They became quite good friends. For some reason,
They would call each other on the phone, or, I think they met up with each other. I kind of thought it was just because of the kids at first.
Janine was into tattoos and piercing, and she got her right nipple pierced. And the first person she went and showed was Troy's ex-wife. And I thought that was really odd.
I want to show you something. It's good you're here. I got a new addition today. Ready?
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
But whatever the reason, Troy doesn't mind.
I think he was very thankful that they became friends and they were close. He wanted everybody to get along, and he was in the middle. And I think that when they became close, I think Troy kind of thought that he created that.
He thought it was a good thing that she got along with the girls' mother, and I think he still really cared for her a lot, too.
It's actually a good thing that a step-parent and the kid's actual parent can have a good relationship with each other. But it is unusual, I think, odd and a little bit concerning to me that the relationship between Janine and Lisa seems to be closer than the norm.
It is an odd pairing, and they seem very, very close. And so I feel like one of them is trying to either manipulate or create leverage with the other. It's going to be really important that this couple really focus on trying to keep a balance of making everyone happy, or else there's going to be trouble ahead.
For Troy, trouble ahead comes in a bottle.
He always liked to drink. He did, even when he was in high school, he was like the party organizer. His whole class was like that, It's kind of sad, really.
Alcohol is a convenient solvent for the couple's financial worries.
Hey, baby. Let's get another drink for the road.
So I think they both had started drinking more as time went on. I think things at home were just getting magnified with them. He got into the second house, bought another house. That weighed heavily on them financially. And so I think just all of those kind of things got them to drinking more, which then would cause more problems. It just gradually kept getting worse and worse.
The more they drink, the more they fight. And Janine's behavior becomes increasingly irrational.
I think she had 2 or 3 accidents with the van. She always said she hit a deer. There are a lot of deer, but did she? 3 times? I think it was 3 times.
She was very extreme. You know, she had her, I would almost describe it as bipolar, manic, very hyper, very agitated at times, to where she would just talk 100 miles an hour and you literally could not follow her. And then there were other times where she didn't hardly talk at all. She'd be on her low.
The rest of the family suspects that diet pills might be causing the mood swings.
That's what you heard, right?
What are you doing?
Okay, can you tell Janine that she shouldn't take
What?
ephedrine?
Oh, Jesus. I don't.
Were you
What are you doing?
I'm talking to my mom.
Yeah, I can tell you're talking to your mommy.
She heard that this stuff
I think it was
bad.
ephedrine maybe that she was taking, a speeder for dieting or to give you energy, and Troy was upset and didn't like her taking that.
The primary ingredient in most of those was ephedra, and she used ephedra a lot and liked it. After ephedra became banned here in Illinois, she would acquire it from the internet.
He called me one night and he said, "Mom, would you tell Janine that she shouldn't be taking ephedrine?"
Mom, will you tell her for me?
She just started screaming in the background. "You tell your mom it's none of her business what I take. If I want to take it, I'll take it. She can just stay out of it."
She's watching the news way too much.
Janine's mood swings become increasingly dramatic.
I would call her my psycho sister-in-law because of the ups and downs and just the manics that she had. And you just never knew from one day to the next what kind of mood you were going to catch her in. One night, she had locked herself in the bathroom with a knife and, said that she was just going to kill herself.
Then Troy would have to go save her, which she knew he would, and
Don't push me, I'll do it!
Come on!
it was just a big drama all the time.
Sorry.
But with Janine and Troy, psychological drama sometimes turns physical.
There were holes in the walls at the house where things would get punched, and I believe probably my brother might have even, done a hole or 2 in the walls too, because he would get frustrated, get mad, and that's a thing that guys do. They punch walls when they get mad.
I know that Janine would not hesitate to get physical. She wouldn't hesitate to get physical with her husband or anybody else that crossed her or that she thought was crossing her. In her marriage with Troy, many people noticed Troy with a black eye or with obvious fingernail scratches on his face. I mean, she would just go to the nuclear option in any situation so she could prevail and get her way.
Troy takes it in his stride.
Lori would say, "What happened to your eye?" or "What happened to your lip?" Something like that. And he'd say, "Janine did it," and then he'd just laugh.
Not everyone thinks Janine is violent.
I don't see it possible. I mean, she had a temper, but it wasn't like over the top. It never happened in front of us kids or anything, so.
I knew she was very hot-headed, but I never suspected abuse. I didn't think that Troy would put up with it. I don't know why Troy didn't divorce her.
I think he probably thought he could help her and they would work it out. And he didn't want to go through another divorce and be by himself. And he didn't want to put the girls through it, or her kids even, because he loved her kids.
A man can absolutely be a victim of physical spousal abuse every bit as much as a woman can.
It's typically the male on the female. But the fact is, there are a lot of women who do abuse their husbands. It's just that we don't hear about it very often. It tends to be very shameful for the man. It's embarrassing. And so they cover it up or laugh it off, much like we're seeing here.
When I look at Troy and Janine, I see a lot of behavior going all the way back to the beginning of their relationship that seems to be driven by impulsivity, short-term thinking. There are just an awful lot of red flags being raised here.
This is a really volatile relationship, and I'm concerned about where things are going. And I'm worried that this violence could escalate and that maybe Troy one day might retaliate and that things could get really ugly.
Mood swings, pills, and unpaid bills make for a difficult year in the Patton household. And to top it off, a male psych patient claims that he and Janine are having an affair. Since the patient has schizophrenia and other mental issues, it's possible that he's delusional.
The psych patient was very distraught, and he was very upset because he believed that their relationship was real.
You were honest with me?
I'm always honest with you.
Soon after, the couple's dirty laundry is hung out for all to see.
My mom and Troy went to Lewistown to a bar, and they got into a fight.
The people said that she got agitated and started arguing with Troy.
Yeah, as if I would do something as insane as that. As unethical as that, as if I would do something like that.
I don't know. I wouldn't put it past you.
You're such
okay? I wouldn't put it past you.
I heard it from another friend that heard all the screaming outside of the bar.
Look at this guy.
Troy has somehow gotten wind of the allegations against his wife, but Janine claims the sexual encounter was against her will.
Janine was yelling. She had been raped by him. She had not slept with him. She was raped.
You're pushing me to this. I don't want to have to tell you the truth.
Just for once.
He raped me.
Troy couldn't understand why she wouldn't report it to the police or at least report it to her boss. Or why didn't she scream when it supposedly it happened right there in the nursing home?
I think he was finally starting to figure her out.
We don't know what psychological issues this patient has, and so it is possible that the story could be made up. That said, typically, when a person is being accused of something they didn't do, they don't react as hostily as Janine. She becomes so dramatic, and then add to it what we know about her, and it makes me think that there was consensual sex happening.
At this point, I wonder if instead of being an employee at a psychiatric facility, Janine ought to be a patient in a psychiatric facility.
At the bar, the fight turns physical.
She wanted to fight. She was ready to pick a fight with him. You know, Troy, I believe, already had heard about the affair, and so I just felt like she was, you know, hit rock bottom. Didn't know what else to do.
People did see her grabbing a beer out of his hand and later throwing it at him.
Well, eventually, I guess the tavern closed and they both left, so they were taking separate vehicles back home. And actually, neither one of them should have been driving, I'm sure.
Just a few hours later, police are called to Troy and Janine's home on South High Street.
About 3:26 a.m. on January 28th, we received an emergency call of a domestic in progress. The officers were dispatched to the scene.
But when officers arrive, the situation is critical.
The officers were informed that there had been a shotgun discharge at the scene. Of course, they didn't know what they were getting into, but knew there'd been shots fired.
The police find 2 shotguns lying on the ground. Near the guns, Troy lies bleeding, and there's another man hovering over him.
Troy was laying there on his back, and another male subject in the hallway with Troy.
The man, a neighbor of Troy and Janine's, is immediately identified as a possible suspect.
They don't know who's who. Everybody's running around.
I think they were still trying to figure out exactly what was going on.
One thing is clear, Troy is still alive, but seriously wounded.
He appeared to be mortally wounded. There was a lot of blood.
I saw an intruder. I saw a shadow. I don't.
At the other time, Janine had exited the house screaming and yelling towards one of the other officers, and he was, trying to comprehend at that time what was going on. And she had made a statement that, she had shot her husband.
She was obviously very distraught.
She was wanting to go inside to be with him. She wanted to go to the hospital to be with him. which we didn't allow her to do at that time. I had one of the officers to set her down in a vehicle there, maybe calm her down some.
Janine, beside herself with grief, gives police a harrowing account of the night's events. She says she had just one thing on her mind.
She locked the house and she got a gun and she was going to actually take her own life. It all just started weighing on her, I guess, and she was in a very deep depression.
She was contemplating suicide and got a shotgun out of the cabinet, loaded it.
And then she thought in her mind about my little brother and I.
She was contemplating suicide and had changed her mind.
But in the darkness, something catches her eye, and she reacts without thinking.
She saw a shadow and she thought it was an intruder. And so she just turned and shot.
It's only when she turns on the lights that Janine realizes the intruder is her husband, Troy.
It was an accident. She didn't realize who it was.
She told me that she doesn't remember pulling the trigger. She doesn't remember hearing the gun go off or anything, that after she remembers seeing the shadow, the only thing she can remember is crawling over to the body and then realizing what happened. She was absolutely devastated. I can't even imagine how she felt.
The phone rang. Of course, at 3:30 in the morning, you know, something's wrong. And I answered the phone, and it was Lori. She was just screaming and crying. She said, "Mom, you got to get to the hospital. Janine shot Troy."
I was with my father and my stepmom. I got home and they sat me down and they said, "Brady, we have to talk to you about something." They told me that my mom had accidentally shot and Troy was dead. At the time, I just thought I would go to bed and wake up and everything would just go back to normal and I would just go to school and then my mom would come and pick me up and we'd just have a normal life again.
It seems that Troy's death is just a tragic accident. Perhaps Janine saw the neighbor an unfamiliar presence and reacted out of self-defense. 34-year-old Troy Patton is dead, shot in the head by his wife, Janine. Janine claims she mistook Troy for a burglar, and when police storm the house, they find a man looming over Troy. They soon figure out why the neighbor was in the house.
He was trying to perform CPR for him. The neighbor who was assisting Troy continued the CPR to the ambulance, and paramedics arrived.
Janine is adamant. After considering suicide, she then shot Troy by accident.
As a forensic psychologist, I can tell you that one of the most common lies that people tell when they commit murder is that it was a suicide gone wrong. It's very implausible most of the time. In this case, it's hard to commit suicide with a shotgun. And if you live with somebody, whether your marriage is happy or not, and you realize that there's another figure in the house, you don't jump to the conclusion that it's a stranger and they're out to get you and you need to defend yourself with lethal gun violence. You would typically at least check and see if it's not the person with whom you live first.
When we look at Janine's past behaviors, she tends to try and hurt him. She isn't somebody that we see cutting herself when she's angry. This is a classic example of where there's smoke, there's fire.
As witnesses start to come forward, the cops start to figure out how this terrible night unfolded.
The female that lived next door and two male friends of hers heard the arguing between Troy and Janine. They heard some kind of domestic issue going on.
Trust you. You won't understand.
She spoke to her two friends and they decided to go outside, and in her words was, it would be fun to watch this incident unfold.
I want you away from my house!
In fact, neighbors have front row seats to the entire scene from the safety of their own porches.
You get out!
You are never gonna see me again. I hate you. I've given you.
Good!
Get away
Pack your bags and get the hell out of my house!
She goes into the house and locks him out.
She tried to load the first shotgun. She couldn't get it loaded, so she threw it on the floor and took out the second one and loaded it. Then she went to the deck and pointed the gun out the door at Troy.
The neighbors can see this too. And they see Troy put his hands up and they see her retreat back into the house.
Janine?
Perhaps Troy believes Janine might actually kill herself. Whatever his reason, he does not run away. In fact, quite the reverse.
Then they see Troy trying to get into the house. He kicks the door 3 or 4 times before it breaks open.
Shortly thereafter, they heard a loud bang.
It's the shot that will prove fatal for Troy Patton.
And then when she ran out screaming that she'd shot him, they entered the residence and began to try to assist Troy.
Come here now.
Only then does one of the neighbors call 911.
He's dead. Come, hurry!
With Janine in custody, investigators start to uncover the precarious state of this marriage and Janine's delicate state of mind. Blood work reveals a smorgasbord of illegal drugs in Janine's system.
Janine's samples tested positive for the presence of cocaine, methamphetamine, and amphetamine.
I don't know if I would consider it a substantial drug problem, but obviously she had been involved in using illegal drugs.
Police also suspect the diet pills had a serious impact on her mental state.
It gave her energy, it made her more upbeat. Unfortunately, I feel it would feed her aggression because she's taken more than probably what the recommended dosage is.
Janine, what the hell is this? We talked about this.
I don't have to explain anything to you.
If you're abusing ephedra, it's not a big jump to abusing cocaine or abusing methamphetamine because you're thinking that's going to work even better.
It's suspected that Janine drained the family finances in order to fuel her drug habit.
I could only assume what I had already suspected, that, all the money that she was spending and why she never had any money was being spent on drugs.
People knew Janine as someone who liked cocaine and liked methamphetamine, and that's expensive.
In the months leading up to the murder, $22,000 was withdrawn from Troy's retirement savings account.
I know that my brother was borrowing from his 401k retirement plan. When we were going through the house, I found a lot of the paperwork for that. I found the ones that I knew were obviously in his handwriting, because I knew his handwriting, and then I came across some that were not in his handwriting. And so then I knew that, oh my gosh, she's, forging loan documents to borrow from my brother's 401k retirement, and he didn't even know about it.
Janine signed those papers. Troy didn't. There was $248,000 there. People have been murdered for a whole lot less than that.
The only bill Janine had paid in months was Troy's life insurance premium, paid the morning before Troy's death.
She came back to town the day before she shot him on her lunch hour and paid his life insurance with a check that wound up bouncing, but that's the only thing she paid.
Janine had motive and opportunity. She pleads guilty to first-degree murder, and Troy Patton's death becomes infamous in this small, peaceful Illinois town.
It was the first homicide in more than 10 or 12 years.
Really, a well-known and universally liked figure was suddenly taken out of the picture. Everybody liked Troy. Nobody could believe this happened to him.
Troy's funeral is held on what would have been the couple's second anniversary.
It's a time for everybody to come through the line, and it's really kind of the beginning of healing process. And I just remember standing there amazed at over 900 people in our little town came through there.
In a town of just over 3,500 people, 983 turn up to give their condolences.
It was a blessing to see how many people Troy had touched, how many people cared about him, and that they came to let us know how much they cared about him.
Janine is sentenced to 30 years in prison. The courtroom is packed, and Janine wears a bulletproof vest.
Everybody loved him, and they were angry.
30 years was not enough for her. It should have been life for her. The life that she took and the family she destroyed, 30 years is not enough.
To this day, Janine's daughter Brady truly believes her mother did not mean to shoot Troy.
I want people to know that she's not some crazy person that has no heart. She's loving. She has the biggest heart out of anybody that I know. I think she loved him more than absolutely anything.
Troy's family members and friends maintain it was cold-blooded murder.
The affair, the finances, all of that together just, came to a boiling point that night.
Troy was full of life, and the only enemy that he ever came in contact with was the one that he married.
I just want the truth. I don't want him forgotten. I want the truth out there of what happened.